back to You're Not Gonna Like This, episode 52, Spikeeyes. Now, um, here, we always like to provide interviews, platforms for those that have up and coming and inspiring businesses. Those that I found that are, dedicated to their brand, put a lot of work behind it. I like to give those individuals a platform to talk about what they do, what their goals are, what their aspiration, and how they plan on getting to the top of their respective regions. None other than that, we're gonna flip over to photography, videography. Got most of us, we've been here before. We did multiple interviews with others that have did photography and videography. So why not add to the bunch with a good colleague, friend of mine, EOL. Care to introduce yourself to the crowd? And a burning question. I have got to know what that stands for because I have been dying to know forever and a day.
What?
What your name stands for? Like, is it literally just E.O.L. or is it like is it abbreviated for something?
It's not. That's not okay. So this is the funniest thing. The spelling is actually EYOEL. There's no like abbreviations or nothing. OEL. Yeah, it's it's in dialect because in the in the African Bible, like in the Tigrinya and Amharic, mostly in the Amharic Bibles, the old ones where I'm from, it's written out as EOL. Right? It's in the Bible as Joel. Joel was written as EOL in the ancient text, like in the old African text. And that's like a very true thing. So, you know what I'm saying? So if you look at off of what that is, that's basically it. It's, you know what I'm saying? And E's just always been such a quick way to go about saying my name that it just been worked all this time.
Yeah. You ain't gotta explain the nickname.
nah, no, but I'm saying you don't do that, dude.
I mean, it makes sense to go with it makes sense like EYOEL. I mean, it makes sense to go with something as short as E. That's not uncommon at all. But to fill in the last part, you said your name is deriving from African heritage. What country exactly would that be?
So I'm Eritrean. So in that basis, yeah. So my name is written in like when you read the Bible in the Eritrean language, which is Tigrinya, you'll actually see that Joel is written out as Eoel. It's the actual translation. So that's really what it is.
I understand that. I just need to know what country that is.
Eritrea.
Say that again.
It's from Eritrea.
Eritrea, huh?
Eritrea, yeah.
Never heard of that country. I'd have to look that one up.
It's a small country. It's a country based in the near the Red Sea. We were originally a country joined by Ethiopia, but we fought an independence war that lasted all the way from the 19. Well, let me date this properly, just to always get my peoples right. You know what I'm saying? Can't ever do this. Our war of independence was until 1991. That's when we were considered a free nation. Yeah.
Only 35 years.
I'm telling you, we so that's what it is. So really, that was really a big time, you know, and that was really where within that spot, I claim, I got to claim proud for it. That's why I love seeing when people that, getting up on it and you get to say that. I get to always give credit to where I'm from because it shows it out. Because there's not a lot of us, especially even in, this field. So where we get that space to talk about it, we were proud about that. We wouldn't let no one slouch about it. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Glad that you're proud about your heritage. And further proof, ladies and gentlemen, that racism was not that long ago. If he said 1991, I was born in 1999. That is 8 years before I was born. So that tells you that it is a constant battle for independence and equality for others. Just want to put that out.
Yeah,
go ahead. What you about to say?
Yeah. No, so the war actually started from September 1st of 1961 to May 24th of 1991.
It's 30 years of war.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. All right. So, first question I got for you is, what is photography to you, and why is that your passion?
Sure thing. So, I think photography for me is being able to use a tool like a camera to bring out moments in time and let it last for something longer than a few seconds. See, the reason with photography is like when you take a photo, right, and you capturing something, the time frame in which you may have when you took that camera and snapped it, less than like 20 seconds for real. Or you really just setting the shot in. But the moment in which you do it lasts forever. You think about that all the time. right? You look back at like some of the older photographers even before me, and even videographers who made short form. People like Gordon Parks, you know what I'm saying? People like you know what I'm saying? He was a big one too. Gordon Parks was a real one. I studied. Somebody told me to actually study him years ago. Even my uncles. And basically, the reason behind that was because when you look at like a Gordon Parks photo, you really see those moments when he took in, especially during the civil rights era, and he took a lot of great photos during that time as well. A lot of those pictures were supposed to be there to stand for something more than just that second. It's supposed to be there as like a testament to something. You know what I'm saying? It's like I always think about it like this. You can almost treat it like the game-winning shot. You know what I'm saying? Because the reason behind that is that shot took a few seconds to make, but it's like it's cemented in someone's mind forever.
It's like telling a story.
It's always about the story. That's the bigger thing. That's really the base of it all, is that my passion behind it is just telling stories.
Yeah, pictures. Yeah, pictures definitely do tell stories. It's always cool to see pictures from years ago to see what it was. I know when June came around, so this is something I've been doing ever since it's like 15 or 14, whatever one dropped. When they let you like make wallpapers, custom wallpapers.
Yep.
Like every month, I've dedicated myself to making like a new wallpaper. And June was Juneteenth, so I ended up searching, and because of Juneteenth, I found all these black and white photos of like just the civil rights movement, of like signs of just like whites only, colored people, different signs of, you got different policemen harassing people that are minding their business, and all types of stuff. All this photos that look so long ago but weren't long ago, and it's just like you get to see it. And it's like, oh, this is pretty cool. You never think photos that were taken just over 60 years ago would still be as relevant in today's time and still can be used in so many different ways in historical text, and even something as simple as a wallpaper theme. So it's always cool to see how photography can be applied in different fashions.
But don't you like that though? That's the thing too. No, I'm saying, yeah, no problem. That's the thing you gotta love though, because sometimes it's so crazy. Is like history gets inspired. Like people making history get inspired by other forms of history. So no matter how you build it, it just makes it great. You know, so like even like sorry. I even see this in where I had looked at something. I was looking at a mood board. I was reviewing something. I went to review one of Kendrick's videos, Element. And if you look in one of them, he actually looked at a civil rights. I think it was either that one or Count Me Out, where he referenced a Gordon Parks photo referencing the civil rights era time, something around that spectrum. So you get to see that, and you get to see in something as like even current this time, where people are having such like crazy effects and just crazy ways where you could see something that's so crisp and you like, whoa, and get to bring in something where someone brought an old film camera from the 60s and that channels in factors in today. That's something that's super cool. Like you get to see that in the present with people from the past. And I think that's something that like gets to bring more people together when they create and when they make the art and when they go forward in their art.
Totally agree. But so then why is all this a passion for yourself?
You know, I funny thing or not, I don't even consider it as much like a passion anymore. I consider it like a purpose. It's a mix of both, because the thing is with it is, right, of course I see it as the passion for what I do, because it's like if I'm sitting down just working on this thing, sometimes I'm like, I could do this for days in and days out and be like, it won't feel like work for real. Like, and too, like when I work with Peanut, shout out to Peanut Gallery, of course. When I be working with him, it don't even be feeling like work sometimes, because we're just like finding new things or trying new things out. And that joint, and whenever we get into doing that, it's just like, man, like we just be doing stuff for like, yo, how did you even think about that idea? And it's like stuff like that, man, nobody even speaks about doing like that no more. And I think that's such a big thing, that like once you have that kind of feeling, that is your passion that's there. But the purpose is also where you sit there and you're like, no, I need to use this for something greater than myself. You feel what I'm saying? Like it's where you line in and you see the passion. People have passions, and sometimes their passion can fuel their egos, but a lot of times a purpose goes beyond the egos as well. Sometimes you want to look at knowing where those paths kind of come through on. And that's where you really know it, because you can be passionate for sure, but until you do it for something greater than yourself, sometimes that's where you see that purpose, and that's where the like the point for moving forward, it looks way different, and you see it at a way different pace.
I like that. That's pretty unique. I've never had anyone provide that kind of perspective in terms of why they're passionate and more to why it's their purpose, right? It's just their sole passion. Now I wouldn't say for myself that the podcast is like my purpose. Now I know I'm passionate about it.
Right.
But I know definitely it feels like I've always liked to help others. I've always liked to, try to give others a fair chance to those that don't get a lot of light. So I would say that would be a purpose of mine that I like to highlight on. But more on the passion side. And it's also cool when being that, I create a lot of things for the podcast as well. And it's always fun, when you're in that mindset, and, you just click, and everything's just like, okay, we got this. It all flows together. So, like, I know what it feels like when you and Pete, you get in your studio and you start to get the going, and you hit this drawing, you move this image here, you combine this color with this animation. It's like, oh, we then created a masterpiece. And that's always fun. And that's always fun when you do things like that, when you create different things. You're like, I outdid myself with this. I didn't think I was capable of such a thing. And that's how I feel sometimes when I be driving up these episode lists. Maybe not for more of the interview side, but like in terms of like just regular episodes, like different topics, like different pop culture topics, or most notably Music Central. When I come up and I just think of different episodes, like different things that we do, and it's like, all right, these questions, this episode title, all's gonna flow. And then when you see it come to fruition, when you get the recording, and it's like, oh yeah, that episode was perfect. Oh yeah, well done. Outline everything going. It went perfect, smooth. So it's always good to see things come to fruition when you put that hard in time, that hard and effort into something. You see it like, oh yeah, this is nice. I like this. I gotta keep going with this.
That's
But
that thing, though. That's that thing.
yeah, I agree. And then my next step for you is, man, I gotta know why Spikeey. I got a
Yeah.
feeling where it's derived from. I got a gut feeling for it, but I need you to, confirm my intuition.
Yeah, sure thing. So the craziest thing out, right? So when I was really ready to start making that acknowledgement where I'm like, okay, it's time for me to realize that, like, I've been doing photos and I've loved doing photos. It's like this is serving as something else. I need to go ahead and start making these films and these videos like I wanted to, because I know I've always wanted, like, that was the thing where I'm like, where I could really like see myself and I can go, okay, let's get this shot here. Let's get into this. Let's do these things. Like, that's been in my brain. It moved in my brain, and it was it was speaking in my heart. So I was like, all right, I got to do this. But the big thing I really thought about it, right? This is like, it's a whole mix of things, but of course, for sure, Spike Lee, of course, for sure, Spike Lee, yeah,
There it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
There it is.
But it's actually other things too. So there is a channel that I love that I rock with on YouTube. They call the Mallory Bros. I think I don't know, a lot of people should probably know about them. They do a lot of great music reviews, and they have a great podcast called the Mallory Bros Podcast. One of the homies there, I met when I used to work at Best Buy. I used to work at a Best Buy on the way, and he used to help with running the Best Buy. I believe he was one of the assistant managers at that time. I don't want to misquote him, so I'm just. But his brother's name was Spike. I remember it was him or his brother that was put him as Spike. They called themselves Spike T, and it was just kind of like that like, it's like the family of things where I'm like, I kind of felt like that part is where I'm like, I was really big on, once I started getting into this space where I was like, I'm gonna start making these videos. I'm like, I'm not gonna let nothing go about it. Like, boom, Spikey. The original name of it was and I still keep it as his name still, is I call it the eyes of Spikey, because everyone can try to be like Spike Lee, right? But it's the eyes in which you point out the film and make the work that really shows perspective, right? Perspective is based on the eye. Whatever you see from the eye and whatever you gain from it builds that perspective. So I was like, what about if it's made through my eyes? Like, of course, Spike Lee, for sure. And if Spike ever see this, bro, he talk about Slit, like, that's my guy, love him to death. So he see my name, listen, I'm chilling.
I don't think the name's copyright. I think you're okay.
That's hey, you know what I'm saying? That's good, you're right. But no, but basically the way I thought about it was, when I put myself into that name, it let me channel in all those parts of me that I wanted to get into with being into video and film, you know. And photography was something that was beautiful because in order for me to know that I could do that, I had another name for it, right? I had E does the edits, and before with that helped me step into that space of, okay, when I'm working, I'm E does the edits. You know what I'm saying? I'm calling in, I'm checking in photos, I'm looking at, hey, how do you want this edited? How does this look at person's skin tone look in the sun? Is it a little too orange? Is it too bright? Or is it this way? I was able to get into just in that channeled in, like, zero locked in bag. When I'm in Spikeey, it's just me stepping more into the film and zeroing in. Okay, how does this cut look? How am I using the audio? There's something I need to check in with this. What do I do? It's just me stepping in. It's me putting myself in that space. Right. And the name and a name is important, right? A name, it's there for a reason. You don't just, you know what I'm saying, your name not 1 or 25, you know what I'm saying? Your name is a name because it's supposed to stand in something. A name is, like we said, it's a testament. So that Spikeey was the biggest part, which is the testament towards that. You know, and I think that was a bigger thing for that.
So you got multiple personas like Eminem. Got you.
Stop. Listen. We not doing this. You saying that to make Nut happy. Listen, you say that to make Peanut happy. I'm not. You leave that. I ain't doing none of that.
That was not for my brother Michael. That wasn't for him at all.
Nah. You could have said anybody else, and you started.
How many people you know? How many people you know with multiple personas off the top of your head? Because this is freelance. This ain't scripted.
Deion Sanders. Deion Sanders.
You see,
I know.
Deion, multiple personas.
What do you call himself? Primetime and Deion Sanders, bro.
He calls him Primetime Deion or Primetime.
But that's.
It's not multiple personas. Deion is just Deion.
But Deion knew
Deion 1 and then Deion 2. It's just Deion.
No, but I'm saying is but even having that, it's just not. It's more of a thing of like, that's when he was prime. When he prime, he working on that way. You know what I'm saying? But when he's Deion, he knows that part of him where he's a little more composed. He gets real direct about it. But prime, he like, yeah, listen, you're not listen. You're not getting any yardage past me. Like, I'm gonna knock you. You're not an issue for me. That's prime. When he going up there with the whole look up, and he got the entourage, and he was wearing the gold chains, and he had to cut. You telling me that was Mr. Deion Sanders? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's prime.
I feel like him has always been prime. I ain't never thought of Deion Sanders having 2 split personalities. I feel like he's just always been prime. Like, everywhere he goes, every time you see him in the media, he's always prime. He may be Deion to his family, but with the way we see him, he's always prime. But I used M for the sole purpose of, we know M has Eminem, and we know M has Real Slim Shady. So we know 2 different sides of him. Okay. Just like that's release of the pup that we can, easily recognize, and therefore that is why the comparison came out. So again, not repeating any kinds of ways. And just the first person that came to mind that has 2 personas that are publicized to what we know. And, I can see the Spike Lee influence on you. You got the glasses. You just like Spike Lee do with the orange shades on. Spike Lee got the same glasses at the Madison Square Garden games. The same ones.
Nah, that's so crazy.
Every game he got them glasses on. He got them little orange shades in there. Every time.
That's
crazy.
That's
gonna look. That's gonna be you though. I don't know if you watch basketball.
I do.
Oh, who's your favorite team?
Unfortunately, I am a Wizards fan. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's good. That's all that matters. Just like Spike Lee, you're a fan of the most poverty franchise in basketball.
Don't you do that, bro? My heart broke.
You're gonna be the second coming of Spike Lee. You're gonna be the second coming when he hangs him up. He's officially retired. You're next up. Right there. Courtside on the Wizards games, watching them fall from the skies and never achieving the ultimate goal.
You leave my people alone. Listen, my heart broke with Bradley Beal gone, but I'm gonna give faith in Jordan.
Jeez. We're not gonna get on that soapbox right now because, I got my own opinion about that. I should pay that brother anyway.
Oh, okay.
But we're not gonna go there nonetheless. Let's go ahead and flip back to the episode. Let's get back to what we do. So we know Spike E, right? But you also got a second persona that calls E does the edit. So what does that include? What edits does E do? Like, I need to know. Like, give me the full shit, man.
So So with my E Does the Edits, the way I do it is this, right? E Does the Edits was just a place where I put all my work before film. And what I still do it is with photography, design, and just a whole but like and even with that I do editing as in like I do editing literally going from looking at portraiture edits, going stuff even from events. I did live events because even when I worked with shout out to one of the greatest. Actually, this is my arguably the greatest job I had, but digging in the Virginia Tech digging the crates because it was one of the few jobs I think I've ever had where I got to be physically just as creative as possible with my shots. But like, of course, we followed rules, we did this, but I got to hang out all my peoples and we got to work as a group. It was lit. But basically, what it was with that was I got to go in and edit and be particular about live events, stuff also like meetings and stuff of that nature. Even getting in like General Assembly looks where we used to do an event like Word of Mouth, where I used to take photos and I would edit people actually, reciting poems that they made, the audience and literally the peanut gallery people viewing stuff in, people rapping, freestyling, a whole bunch of things and we had amazing people with me, you know what I'm saying? John Kabongo, DeRay Manning, you know what I'm saying? Also got to also be called Dakota Hamilton, call him Coda Life, of course. Jasmine Weiss, Ethan Quide, my apologies. Zy Riddick, you know what I'm saying? It was all led in through. He's my young, you know what I'm saying? We was all young bulls just working there and showing our thing. And with He Does the Edits was it allowed me to try and seeing different faces, different venues and places. Because a lot of times most times when you see people when they do their edits, have you ever seen it where people try editing and it's very like they always edit in one particular area or they take shots in only one area?
Not too intertwined with photography, so I wouldn't be able to relate to that.
Well, I mean, like you go on IG and you see some people when they take shots and they be like, "Oh, okay, those are cool. Like, I want to see what these other spots would have looked like, right?" Like looking at the places around the. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine.
I can best I can do is
Yeah.
go with like, I guess aesthetic photography where you trying to hone in on the image behind the person so you can create a different kind of look.
Yeah.
Where you talking about bird's eye, worm's view, stuff like that.
Oh yeah, no, I got you.
That's how I can relate to.
Yeah, I got you. I
don't know if that's down the alley what you're looking for. So.
No, I got you. It's all good.
That's what I got.
No, I got you. So that's with angles. So with angles, I did have a lot of different angles I shot with. I've done bird's eye view. I've done some POV shots actually. Some of my original shots used to be POV shots. One of my first concert shots was a POV shot. Just a person back in the audience's lights is hit to him out the phone lights. You know the classic. You know what I'm saying? Where they have the phones in the air and it's just letting the performers say their piece. So it was real great doing that. I've also edited. I've also shot and edited for I went to Los Angeles and I got to actually do an event. It was a pop-up event and I like doing pop-ups and the aesthetic of pop-ups because you get to see where they place certain things and how particular they are. So I did one from Brent Faiyaz when he did Nuo, and that was his brand that he made with Mark Peace. They allowed cameras in and that was really dope. I got to get some really, really great shots of Brent Faiyaz and his team. And his manager, who was sitting at this like little giant Humvee of the Nuo, she was helping me like she was like, you can take shots here, please be careful, this third. And I got to take some great, straight on line shots. Straight guns in us. Yeah. And it was really
for the manager to help you out. And like, here, this all right, get Brent like this. Okay, no, get the team like this. There we go. All right, be easy, not too close. Perfect.
Yeah. Because she was also
that's good. That's cool. Because not everybody. Not some celebrities you can gain access to where they'll keep that boundary up, but they'll be like, all right, look, I see you, you good. You can take your photos. Yeah, cool. Pose, got you. Appreciate you. Yeah, that's cool. It's cool when celebrities do that because it shows themselves that they're not larger than life. They understand that it's still a little man out there that's still trying to ascend in the ranks to whatever profession they may be in, and it's always cool. And Brent's like that. And, I never met the guy, but he said that. I remember a tweet on Twitter where people were just like trying to analyze his songs and everything that was going on. And he tweeted, he was like, "I just be singing my thoughts for real, bro. That's all I be doing, bro.
Bro, that's all right.
For real.
Hey,
so
listen.
So it's like you can tell like from his Twitter and everything. Like he's probably a pretty chill person to be around. He just like, man, I'm I didn't plan on getting famous off this, but hey, you know what? We here. Why not live in the moment? And that's That's kind of between his music and the way he speaks on certain things. That's kind of the persona he gives off. So it comes as no shock to me that Brand and his team let you in and let you get shots and take pictures of what they have going on in there. And that's a pretty cool experience to have.
Also, the aesthetic thing that you spoke on, I actually wanted to touch on that because you were speaking on that, and I also wanted to kind of enhance on that point. The big thing with aesthetics and taking photos and with the edits is editing toward the aesthetic is super important because sometimes when you look at it, it's this weird thing where it's like frequency. You could read frequency about how someone's going about setting certain things up. Because usually, like for that event in particular, right? Though I remember I had edited and I was some of them might get a little technical, so if I do, I'll let you know what I'm saying. So I was going into Lightroom, and as I was going into my tints, and the one thing I noticed was there was a lot of greens that were popping out, right? And as when I'm doing the edits, one thing that you have to be real particular in your eye is the type of colors that stand out the most. Looking at which colors you really want to get in particular with. I was using a certain green, and I was making out this thing to create my own little preset for events like that because I was like, there might be a chance I may see something like this again, so I get to pick up on that, just
it's
kick in.
like a filter on Instagram.
Like that, but it's more of like and then that filter why I do it like that is because I get to make it and then expand more upon that. But basically within that is sometimes when you read the aesthetics in the room, it gives you like a nice little look of like, okay, well, I remember when I saw the room, I saw the aesthetics from here and here and here. I got to see where it goes in. And playing my rule of thirds, I know I need to keep this at center and let things around the background create that aesthetic of what that was promoting, what that was going out for. You know what I'm saying? And even going for the manager, because even looking at the manager and his team, them being mad respectful, but also telling me, hey, be careful of the space because the way they set up stuff, we can't have people touching in and doing that just out of security risk. You respect that, but then I keep peeping game. You being, keeping your eyes open and just taking note of stuff. And that's also a big thing with me as I'm doing, he does the edits is being particular to the small details and just appreciating the small details. Sometimes the small details is amazing.
Also, fine detailing can make or break a picture, a video, or anything else that goes into the artistry industry. It's always those small details, and that can be applied to almost everything and anything we do in life. I'm an avid basketball player. Understanding how to flick my wrist one way or the other way can change exactly how I make or I miss my shots or positioning my feet. That can change the way how my shot trajectory goes, all that fun stuff. So understanding the small and minute, neat nuances to certain things can definitely make or break anything and everything you do. So it's good. It's one thing to inherently know it, but it's also a good thing for someone like yourself to speak out on it and explain how that fine detailing goes into your work. Because it also just shows the viewer or the consumer that you be broadcasting for to be like, oh yeah, come hire me because I'm gonna make sure you're right. I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna put my certain tints on. I'm gonna get my certain focuses right so that way we can create the best possible image or the best possible video for your event or whatever you're trying to release it out to.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. Pretty tough. So with that being said, my final question is, man. So 2-part question is, what is your final destination as a photographer / videographer, and what are the steps you're taking to accomplish that?
I think, and I mean, no, I know that my final destination for doing photos and film is to be able to one day be able to be my own production, to be my own where I pick up on all this game. And I make a comparison, and this is because I study this way. I almost put the comparison almost to like a West Side Gun. And the reason I say this, right, is because
now that's for Peanut.
No, and that's not even for Peanut because that's not for Peanut. That is not for Peanut. This is what I'm saying. Because the thing is, I take, how everybody has these, we have pieces and people that we have inspiration from.
Mm-hmm,
I had one of my inspirations, of course, about it was West Side because I looked at certain things that he did and I took note because I really loved the way he spoke on things. One thing he spoke on was being able to curate things in the future to where he can just put other people on. My thing is, and the big thing about me is that a lot of times with people that I have love for and just people that I see great work in, I like putting people on. If you like, people can peep my IG stories. I be posting so many people that just aren't me on my stories, And I used to be posting like a whole bunch of people. We post when people be getting like new jobs, people putting out new shoots, new videos. I'd be there, like, you know what I'm saying, ready to express like, yo, go peep this or this hard, like, or you know what I'm saying? Love seeing these things. And I hope that for me, when I go into my final destinations, I'm able to sit there and not only will I have success in for myself, that I get to help other people get success. Because I think the bigger thing is that, and someone told me this, and I think this thing still sticks like glue, but the most successful people get the people around them successful.
Absolutely.
And and I thought about it like that is like, how successful can you make other people? When you get them in those spaces, how successful are you going to get them? How are you going to put them there?
Success can be lonely. It can be lonely. I remember my cousin, when I interviewed him a couple episodes back, like 48, depicted the lady. He had talked about a photo of Jeff Bezos on a roller coaster. He was on his roller coaster. He rented the whole amusement park out. But there was one issue. He was completely by himself.
Same.
There was nobody surrounded him. No friends, no colleagues. It was just like he was solo. And it's like, is that what you really want for success? Is that what you really want? You run out the whole music park and you just riding the rides for yourself, or do you want to be like more of a Jay-Z, I would say, where you have a whole entourage of individuals surrounding you? Like, you bought this guy up, you bought this person up. Jay-Z got a claim to fame. Like, he can make his claim to fame and say, hey, look, I got two billionaires out of the world. I got Jay-Z and I got Rihanna and Kanye West. They came to Rock Nation. They went through Rock Nation to get to where they got to today. So he can make that claim to fame. And he did that with Rihanna. When Rihanna first cracked that $1 billion. When Rihanna first cracked that $1 billion mark for Fenty, when she did it with her brand, he was like, well, look, there's another billionaire from the Rock Nation family. You might want to get with us. Cause, we gonna make sure you climb out. And other people that he's brought up. You got J. Cole, for example, and other guys that he's helped build and make and things like that. And it's always that's something you got to set out to be. You don't want to just accomplish everything solo, because while doing things on your own is nice, and don't get me wrong, it's cool to set things out for yourself, but you always want to make sure you have a good group of individuals surrounding it, because not only will they be support in times of need, it's just also somebody to have fun and celebrate with when you hit that pinnacle of your journey. So that's just good things to hear, and it's good that you say that. But what are the steps? How are we getting there? Like, that's the journey is the best part. The journey is the destination, as they say.
Right, and I think the thing also is that like the one thing also is putting myself also in that state of success also, because I also want to, and I'm speaking this just for my future, because why not speak on it? But I really do see myself getting my ego, my EG, an Emmy, a Grammy, an Oscar. That's to the ends of my life.
Grammy, Oscar.
Get my ego right. Okay. I see that, and I really do, and I think that's not something where I'm like, oh, if I don't get an award, therefore all my work is garbage. No, but like I see that for myself in the end of my body.
I get a nomination, I'd be turned.
You're right.
I get a nomination, shit. I'd be like,
no, I'm saying
we ain't win, but damn it, we here.
No, but like
we know we can walk away with this. We just gotta keep working. So the nomination would be one thing. The award's another thing, but the nomination would definitely be like, oh yeah.
And I think the thing is with that is that the reason I say that is because I know the kind of ideas I build in my mind, and I know the work and ethic that I'm going to put for these, and I know truly and honestly, it's just about me incorporating the works and the ideas that I believe in the most. And that's going to be the bigger thing. It's just learning how to not only just have these great ideas, but actually learning how to keep on implementing, learning more steps, connecting with the people that really do help me, that can give me that guiding light. Because sometimes, the bigger thing also is that like I learned that the best thing ever is just to really consider how important it is being a student, versus saying that, oh, I want to be successful now. I don't need to be successful now. I need to be successful like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to go too fast, but I don't want to waste any time. I need to move effectively in that. And that's the bigger things that when I go about these things, knowing my discernment, that takes time in anything. That takes time in me praying on these things. You know what I'm saying? That takes time in me really understanding my work and just studying my craft more and more. You know what I'm saying? And that takes some time into all of that, because for me, because I see these crazy steps, and like I just said, not too long ago, just now, I see myself getting that. I also then realized that because I see these great things in myself, there is going to be more things called for me as a person. Like I have to do more. I gotta make sure I'm getting my studying in my scripts. I gotta make sure I know my shots. Like even just creating the things with Michael and just tapping in with the team and just making sure that I'm doing these steps. And that comes from doing it every single day. Like just making sure that I'm working at it. I'm doing it every single day. Because there'll be times where I'm gonna be honest, bro. There'll be times where I get, what I'm saying? I feel like mentally and emotionally drained. I don't want to do nothing. Sometimes I feel like sometimes there's that little piece of doubt that try to hit me, but sometimes those voices don't deserve space in me. I gotta really understand that if this is my passion, this is my purpose, it's there for a reason. It's not there for a season. You feel what I'm saying? It is.
Absolutely.
Then that's the bigger thing with that. And I think that's really what I think even, with your podcast and what you've been doing is that you understand that this is out of consistency. Consistency creates the greatest things because you don't look for something to be a tower to be built in 3 days. You look for a tower to be built with foundation, to be built with all the steps to it, to make it not even just stable, but for it to last, for it to stand in something. You know what I'm saying? Like an Empire State Building. You feel what I'm saying? Like that thing still stands. And that joint was made for how long it took? Probably time and time and time. Because they didn't even have the newer construction stuff to make it. They built that joint years ago, and it still stands.
It's been standing for over 100 years, I believe.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? And that's the bigger thing is that once I have that, I think then that gets to do is I'll then be able to sit there. I build all that, and I say, cool. I built the consistency. I did these things. I get to make the stories I want. I get to let other people make the stories they want, and I get to help them out. Then that's really my main goals. The ego is gonna be the ego. Yeah, I'm manifesting it. I'm saying it for sure. But the main thing is having those things, is having myself to make all the stories that I believe in and let those stories last. I don't need to make some one and done story. I need these stories to hit people's hearts because the money in that, people when they speak on that be like, I need to make money. My thing is if I make something amazing, the money's gonna be there regardless.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm saying, you know what I'm saying? And that's where it starts from. If I know I'm going to make something amazing, the money going to get there regardless. Of course, all I'm going to make sure I'm doing is just making sure that, I'm getting my money's worth, make sure I stand, I understand what I signed on that dotted line in that paper, but I also know what's rightfully mine for sure. But the bigger thing with this is that I have to jump outside of that and truly let myself step as an artist and not an entertainer, because there's that dangerous line between artist and entertainer, and people sometimes forget about that line.
I'm putting it together slowly and surely. I'm thinking about it. Yeah, artists are more specialists in certain things, whereas an entertainer is more of a do-it-all person. They just attack all different things, like Jamie Foxx versus a Beyonce, something like that. Yeah, Beyonce is an artist, but Jamie Foxx is the entertainer because he's an actor. He's a singer. He's a comedian. He does everything. So stuff like that. Stuff like that as well. Not to say Beyonce hasn't acted because she's been in movies, but
right.
Not to the magnitude of a Jamie Foxx, of course. So it's just stuff like that. So yeah, that's pretty cool. I like that. You look to build a foundation, and you got a little ego. I feel like everything you do, you gotta have a little bit of a chip on your shoulder. You got to. It's the only way that's gonna. You have to be your biggest motivator. Have to be your biggest motivator. You cannot look to others for consistent motivation because they're not going to do the job for you. They're not going to do the work for you. They're not going to put in the time that you put in. So you have to motivate yourself. You have to be satisfied with your product. You have to want to build your product better than anybody else. Honestly, I look at other podcasts all the time. I always do it,
Of course.
And I have to tell myself, I always, I put myself in a small little box. I'd be like, I like what you're doing, but I got this little competition. You feel me? It's small, not enough to be degrading someone else's work.
Of course,
it's just enough to be like, I see what you're doing, but I got you. I'm keep an eye on you, just to keep a little little checkpoint. Like, okay, I see you building. Let me make sure I'm, staying with you. Let me see if I can exceed you a little bit. One up you, and have that a little bit. Because you gotta be a little braggadocious, as Jay-Z would say, or braggadocio rap, something like that. I don't know if that's a great term. Hopefully, I got that right. Otherwise, you get what I'm going with it.
You're building.
You gotta have a foundation. You gotta have ego, because those two things are what's gonna build that Empire State Building having reference.
Right.
So
I think there's a point in that though. My thing is that even with ego, right? I think there's of course, like anything, there is a extent. There's you doing not too much ego, and you doing the extent. I think the bigger thing in that is more. It's more of like it is built out of confidence, but I think also confidence is also, and this is something I think about too. Someone told me this is like it's having the faith that that it would is having that indication to quite literally know that what you're doing and how you get about it is going to be amazing, because in your heart and when you do the thing, it's amazing because you have a good intention. I've always thought about it like that because I heard my favorite actor, of course, in the world is Denzel. That's my number one to me. That's just number one to me. I got other people down the line, but it's just Denzel's number one for me. It is what it is. Don't touch me. That's it. Still talk about something. I'm from around the way. I'm leaving here with something. You know what I'm saying? But no. Talk about it. Nah, this is my thing though. So he said something he was a commencement speaker for a graduation. I forget where though, and I'm gonna find it though. But he said that that thing that you feel that you want to create and you want to do long term, that you have that passion and purpose for, and of a good heart, is an indication sent beforehand that it's yours already. You just have to go do it. And I think about that all the time, because it's like anything in my heart where I see that and I have the best intention about making it, or I see it and I don't feel like I have to go and undercut somebody or speak ill on someone to do it. That's where I look at it and I say a prayer and I thank God, because that means that, I'm saying, it's mine. I just have to know that I have to have faith to do it and I have to just move forward in that. I think that's the big thing, that's also something that helps me get me to that goal of creating something timeless. Because more than anything, it's like I always know that intentionality makes so much. Because I was talking to somebody, his name is Guided Visions Media, Richard Randolph. He's a great person. He's taught me so much. He's a great dude. He also went to Tech too. Went to Virginia Tech. He had said this too. He said a lot of times you have to also understand is that sometimes when people network or try to get in something, they only want a bag out of somebody. But you ever network someone to genuinely learn something from someone and actually connect with them? It's a difference. It's a difference, because you can start seeing that once you do that, you have intentionality to actually grow something and be, have something timeless and actually build into something with that. Because I feel like if you go about it saying, money get printed all the time. You know what I'm saying? You go to a bank, you're going to find money. You go anywhere, you can find money. Where do you go to genuinely find that thing, that connection, that real thing to get that? You can't buy that somewhere. You can't do that. That's something that has to be made out you. You know what I'm saying? There's no here's connection. Here's here's a $10 bill. That's connection. No, to build the connection, to build something intentionality wise, that's something that takes heart to make, and that's something that I want to do.
Pressure McDonald's. That's all I can say. Pressure McDonald's, and to add and close out with that final point, basically, same thing. I'm watching All the Smoke. That's one of my favorite podcasts.
I do like them.
I remember they had Snoop Dogg on there. Snoop Dogg said, he said he related to when you get a job. Whatever job you work, always look to learn something at that job. Don't matter how much you hate it, because let's believe we all work jobs and we have absolutely hated it at some point in our lives.
Oh, for sure.
But look to take away something from the job, because if you just hate it and you go miserable and you just don't try to learn anything from it, you basically have wasted all your time. But each and every job I've ever worked is something that I've taken away that's built my personality more, built my character more. I met a good friend that I didn't know that I might ever meet from just being around. So all these things, you just gotta you gotta take your time. Like you said, connection out of 10 out of build. It's built. It takes time. It just doesn't happen overnight. And It's good that you've alluded to those things and throughout this episode today.
Yeah.
And it was a pleasure interviewing you as well. Now, basically, it was a good interview. Like I said, this is episode 52, guys. We've added another photographer to our illustrious portfolio. No pun intended.
That's a double entendre. I feel you. I see you.
There you go. See, I practice. I work on these things.
I feel
no script. You don't see no words in front
I
of
don't
me.
see it. I see it off. Listen, off the dome.
See, that's how you do it. Nonetheless, though, like this is it's another classic interview. You're not gonna like this, and this is again season 4, man. We looking to add another good 25, make it to number 75. So this is number 52. Got a good 23 to go. So again, I appreciate E for coming on, and that's pretty much it. So as always, guys, this is your host signing off, and see y'all soon. And also, don't forget to follow E. Does the edits as always.
Oh, Spikeeyes now. It's all Spikeeyes now.
Spikeeyes now. We got Spikeeyes. As always, if you don't know, can't remember the name, everything's tagged in the description below. But that's all I got for you guys. As always, this is your host signing off, and see y'all soon.
All right. Thank you again, man. It's been great.